let's talk about the trickier subject. How are you going to pay for all of that? Is it straight TxDOT funds that you're helping to manage, or how do you plan to do those projects?
So right now on the November ballot, there is a proposition on the county ballot called Proposition B. Proposition B would provide for a $10 per vehicle registration fee to go towards funding projects for the RMA.
Okay.
So right now, if you go get your vehicle registered, it's probably about $70 to get it registered, which is pretty low from a national standpoint. If Proposition B passes, it would be an $80 registration on motor vehicles. Okay. A question I get asked a lot is what all is going to be subject to this deal, because we're a community that still has a rather large agricultural economy. And so farm trailers are the question we get a lot.
Okay, like the bigger farmer that has 30 trailers,
exactly.
Whatever.
Am I going to have to pay $10 a year for every one of these trailers?
What's the answer?
The answer is no.
Okay.
And so in the referendum language, we specifically made sure that it says the vehicle registration fee would be subject to vehicles that already pay the county's road and bridge fee, which doesn't include things like farm trailers, token trailers, specialty plates, a lot of things that you don't know exist unless you have a lot of them. Mm-hmm. But that's a big question that we get. So that would give the RMA a budget of about $1.5 million a year, which in transportation terms is not that much.
Right.
And this is the best part. And so if you want to stop listening after this part, watching after this part, this is the best part. The way TxDOT works is they have to let a certain number of dollars every month based on their budget to projects across the state.
Gotcha.
And they also require a certain level of readiness for them to let a project. So let's say
what do you mean, let a project?
So let a project, that means the money's budgeted.
Okay.
And we're going to we're going to send that money to Dallas, for instance, to the Dallas district, because they've got a project that we have budgeted for. Right. And we're going to send that money. Well, let's say Dallas isn't ready. TxDOT cannot say, all right, Dallas, understand you guys didn't make it. We'll wait till next month and we'll give it to you next month. That's not the way they work. The way they work is we've got to give this money to somebody. And so they start to look around the state for projects that are ready. And if the RMA can take the lead on design and preparing for these projects, this happens all the time where TxDOT turns around and says, who's got a project that's ready? And if we can raise our hand and say we're ready, that's how we can move things forward much more quickly. And so that's the impact that the RMA can have, not necessarily taking the budget, taking the funds that the RMA has and spending them on building the road. It's taking the funds, spending them on preparing the project, designing the project until somebody, TxDOT or the federal infrastructure bill or other monies that show up for projects that are ready. So that's the most powerful tool that the RMA has is getting projects on the shelf ready to go, so that when money comes along, we can raise our hand in Brazos County and say, hey, Brazos County has helped itself. Why don't you guys help us a little bit more? And it happens all the time. There's there's stories from RMAs across the state where this very thing has happened, when they can leverage, a small amount to a very large amount just by being ready.